Here are now again on Crusaders TV. Time now for another installment of Coach's Corner. I'm joined by Crusaders GM and head coach Tim Fragle. Tim, we're 3/4 of the way through the season. How things have gone since you've returned back from the World Junior A Challenge? Obviously, the team bit of a lulls here and there, but you guys picked up a win in your last game and a big one against Fort McMurray.
Yeah, I mean, back after the break, I thought we've played pretty decent hockey. 3-2 losses, one to Whitecourt, one to Spruce Grove, where the game could have went either way. And then 7-6 shootout loss in Olds, again another one-goal game. Those three games in particular, you look at if they could have bounced one our way, I mean, we wouldn't be talking about, kind of getting out of this funk. We have had trouble scoring goals, and that's been a bit of our problem. We get back in the win column with a 2-1 win again, but we have to do a better job of generating more offense.
I want to ask you about that Olds game. What was it like on the bench with the coaching staff between you and Scott and Taylor? Just a back and forth game. You got to believe, if you had any hair, you'd probably be pulling out of your head.
Yeah, it was disappointing to let that one get away. There's no question. They scored early, so it made it quickly a one-goal game. We were up 5-3, boom, 5-4, and then they scored on the power play. And at that point, we're struggling to win hockey games, and you could just feel the energy on the bench kind of sag. Then they scored another one to go up 6-5, but we answered back. I mean, we had every reason to quit. The team has been struggling, and Reed Bossy got a late goal for us to get us into overtime, and we'll take an extra point on the road any day, the way we played this year on the road.
Mm-hmm. And at the AJHL, CJHL trade deadline, you stand pat. Obviously, you were in the mix to try and get some deals done. A forward was your target. What was the reason mostly for standing pat and really not giving up anything?
Yeah, I mean, that's probably the most active I've been since I've been in the league. Lots of discussion on not just our older players, some other opportunities to improve our team. Mm-hmm. And we worked pretty hard at it and had a couple of pretty good options to go. And then we just, the more you think about it, anytime you're moving players, I always think sometimes, the devil you know is better than the devil you don't know. And to be honest, the return wasn't of value, and we know what we have with this current group. We decided to stay status quo.
What were your thoughts on the movement in the league as a whole? A lot of teams, like Lloydminster, selling off their top guys and moving them down south. Not a whole lot of interdivision trading.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you know what Lloyd's doing. They're getting prepped for next year, and I know Spruce was trying to add some guys just for depth to push for a run. And I just think that, again, I think a lot of teams were kind of looking to do more, but what are you willing to give up? I mean, my mindset, if I'm going to make a trade, I want to make a trade because I'm giving you a good player and I'm getting a good player back. Not in the case where I'm giving you a good player and potentially getting something good down the road. I don't like making trades like that. I don't think that helps the hockey team. I think it would have been the wrong message to send our group this year.
Well, let's look ahead at this week. You guys come off a big victory against Fort Mac. First, actually, let's talk on that victory. Big 2-1 victory. You talked about those games, those one-goal games that you're coming out on, the short end of the stick on that one. That was one where your group really rallied and held down the fort.
Yeah, I mean, I thought we made them earn it. I didn't think they had many opportunities through 40 minutes. We did a good job on our own end, and thought we did a good job of managing the puck well. We didn't give them a lot of opportunities. In the third period, they had a few more chances, but they picked up their play. And again, I thought we kind of just swallowed them by playing good defensive hockey. And, again, that's the type of team we are. I think that, if we had a little bit more finish around the net, it could have been a 4-5-1 game, right? And it ended up only being a 2-1. Disappointing. We could have had, I thought, some opportunities we got to cash in on.
And Zach Klassen made some big saves in the end of that one. How big was that for him to not only make those saves, but come out on the winning end of those games?
Yeah, I mean, the team as a whole struggled in December. And, I mean, his game was inconsistent through December, and he knows it and wants to fix it. And then once we got into 2015, he had a couple one-goal games that went against him, and we were looking for those timely saves. And that's what we got on Friday night against Fort Mac, a couple key timely saves in the third period to not allow that tying goal and, led us to victory. And I think that'll give him some confidence to kind of carry the ball here until, when Nixon gets back, which at this time is still probably going to be a little bit longer than we'd like, but that's kind of the hand we're dealt.
Yeah, your group has had to deal with injuries all year. Let's look ahead to Wednesday now. Whitecourt, you traveled there. It's kind of interesting, same kind of season series like Fort McMurray, where the home team has won every game. What has it been about going to Whitecourt this season that has unfortunately not allowed you guys to get a win?
Well, in both games, I think we had exceptional first periods in Whitecourt. And again, our struggle to score goals. I remember going in there last year with a little bit of a different makeup of team up front. We go in there, we score 5 in the first period, we're up 5-1. I think we end up winning 6-2 or something like that. The last time we were in Whitecourt, we should have had a lead like that. We'd played exceptionally well in the first, but we only come out 1-0. And then in both games this year, giving up late goals against, to lose a tight hockey game. So we have to capitalize early. If we're going to have those good starts, we got to capitalize and then eliminate the late game breakdowns. That's been our problem a little bit. Not only late game, but I guess late period. If you look even back to the Spruce game where they scored all 3 goals later, in the last 2 minutes of the period, we got to be better then. Yeah,
let's look ahead to the weekend. Basically, you run the gauntlet of the top teams in the country. You get Spruce Grove, number 2, probably. Some would say they're the best team right now in all of Canada, and then Brooks on Saturday. Let's go back to the Spruce game, though. You've won there so far this year, an overtime victory earlier in the year. How do you build off that game last Sunday where you guys were in it right till the bitter end, losing 3-2?
Yeah, I mean, they've only lost 1 game in regulation and 1 game in OT, and that was to us. So, I mean, that's confidence going in there. Even going back to last year where we played really well in that building, even in the playoffs. For whatever reason, we played pretty strong there, so we're looking to keep that going. And when you play that team, you got to play with high pace, and your margin for error is very small. So we have to be, attention to detail in preparation for that game. I do think I'm biased. I think they're one of the best teams in Canada. There's no question. And Brooks is right there in my mind too. I mean, Brooks will be a difficult test for us. We haven't scored a goal on them yet in the 2 previous meetings this year. I think they beat us 4-0 at the Showcase and 2-0 down in Brooks. And I know the score 4-0 was probably flattering. I thought they really outplayed us that game, but I thought the 2-0 game, was an exceptional game both ways. So hopefully we'll try and build off that. And we're in a 3-4 situation against 2 good teams, so we'll have to keep the shift short and hard and keep our game simple and be prepared to compete.
And it's usually a really good game between you guys and the Brooks Bandits here at the Sherwood Park Arena. Obviously, you've had your struggles in Brooks, but they've had their struggles here, albeit the games have been closer. It's been a while since they've won here. What is it about your team when you go up against these guys? Is it the case they just bring out the best in you?
I think so. I think that's really, guys get up to play them. I mean, how can you not? I think our bigger challenge is to get up to play everybody. But we seem to play, give Spruce Grove a close game and Brooks a close game. Like, we're right there. And, at this point, the standings are so tight that a close game isn't going to be good enough. We have to scratch and claw to get points out of any games. And, yeah, looking forward to this 3-4 test here. It's a big part of the schedule for us, 3-4 this week and then 3-4 next week as well. Mm-hmm. And then we have a little bit of a lighter February. So 6 games here coming up in a tough grind. So we're going to see what our team's made of here.
And an opportunity to pick up points last quarter of the year. You guys want to get home ice. Do you believe 3rd place and even 2nd place is still attainable?
I think that's maybe pushing it. I mean, we'd have to play pretty well. I do believe, though, that if you compare us to Fort McMurray, we're a similar team. Mm-hmm. I mean, if they're going to finish 3rd, why can't we? That being said, the rest is up to us. I mean, we play Bonnyville 3 more times. The proof's in the pudding there. Who's going to get home ice? We play Grand Prairie 4 more times. Play Drayton Valley a couple times. We've got a schedule here where it's in our hands. Mm-hmm. If we play well, we can do it. But we also have Spruce Grove 2 more times, and we have a difficult schedule. And I said in the fashion of the schedule, 3 and 4 nights are always difficult. Doesn't matter who your opponent is. The league is so tight this year. Mm-hmm. Doesn't matter who your opponent is. You need to show up every night, and that's been the challenge. I think if you ask any GM coach in our league, that every night is a grind. It's a mental grind on the coaches because every little detail counts that you talk about daily in practice and in video sessions to prepare for your opponent. I mean, everything counts. So hopefully the players buy into that and perform at the highest peak they can.
No easy nights in the Alberta Junior Hockey League. 14 games remaining for the Sherwood Park Crusaders. Thanks a lot for another Coach's Corner, Tim, and I'm sure we'll talk to you again. Of course we will, but probably next time will be playoffs.